The next selection late in round 3.
Niner fans, what's up? We waited a long time. We finally got our pick. The Minnesota Vikings have traded the 87th pick to the San Francisco 49ers. And with our first selection in the 2023 NFL Draft, the 87th pick, the San Francisco 49ers select Ji'Ayir Brown, DB, Penn State. Audrey Grace, I love you. Let's go Niners!
Ji'Ayir Brown had a hand in 16 takeaways, including 10 interceptions, and was defensive MVP of the Rose Bowl now.
Yeah, at Lackawanna Junior College, he had 5 picks as a freshman, 3 as a sophomore, 10 picks the last 2 years. This is a Manuel Forbes type production, guys. Ji'Ayir Brown, 5'11 and a half, 203. He's another guy like Brian Branch. He didn't test grade, 4.65 40. Basketball standout in high school. You think about the ability to make big plays over the last 2 years. He did it. A little overly zealous at times to make big plays, results in being out of position, susceptible to giving up some big plays. But I'll tell you what, you can't teach, you can't coach. 6 interceptions in 2021, 4 picks this past year. He did it at the JUCO level. What am I missing on him, Lou?
Only thing you're missing here is his top end speed and range, right? So he has to take some chances. He has to jump routes, especially when he's playing in the back end, because he knows he doesn't have that kind of just 4-4 speed that he can make up with it if he doesn't read it perfectly. But I'll tell you this, when he jumps it right, he has the ball skills to finish. When he jumps it right, if he doesn't get there and get the ball, he's going to knock you out. And when he's down in the box, I can promise you this, do not run through the line of scrimmage with your chin up in the air and not get your pads down, because 16 will light you up.
You know, the thing I love about him, he's got outstanding football character. So when you add this guy to your defense, he is coming in with a presence. Yeah, but he's versatile. He can play in a lot of different places. But the football character he brings to your team is outstanding.
And the 49ers have finally joined this draft party.
Niner fans, what's up? We waited a long time. We finally got our pick. The Minnesota Vikings have traded the 87th pick to the San Francisco 49ers. And with our first selection in the 2023 NFL Draft, the 87th pick, the San Francisco 49ers select Ji'Ayir Brown, DB, Penn State. Audrey Grace, I love you. Let's go Niners!
Well, Ji'Ayir Brown was my top safety in this class. High character, outstanding leadership. Micah Hyde was the comparison when I put on the video. He did not run as fast. He ran 4.65. If he ran in the low 4.5s, I think he goes early in the second round. Underneath coverage, his eyes work, CD. He gets underneath, makes plays on the ball. You can put him in the deep middle of the field. The range to me was of someone who ran or plays much faster than that 40 time, and he will come down and he will hit you both as a blitzer and in run support.
And who does he remind you of on the 49ers right off the top? Hufanga, because of the same type of characteristics. Joel, Hufanga didn't run a great time.
Right.
People overlooked him coming out of school, didn't realize that the instincts, the savvy, the understanding of the game made the range better, made the times better, and made big plays once he arrived on the ball. Remember when Jaquan Brisker was at Penn State? He was Robin to Jaquan Brisker's Batman.
Yeah.
Jaquan Brisker underneath, smacking people, doing all that. Over the top, Ji'Ayir Brown making plays on the football.
Those two played together at Lackawanna Junior College.
Lackawanna, Sis Boom Ba.
That's right, in junior college. They call him Tig because as a kid, he was just so high energy. He was bouncing around like Tigger, and it stuck. Ji'Ayir Brown reminds me a lot of Jordan Fuller from Ohio State a couple of years ago, in that maybe he's not the highest draft pick, although third round is pretty darn good. I think he's a day one starter.
Does his mom sing backup for Bruce Springsteen?
No, but his mom is, I wish I had more time. She is a wonderful woman.
San Francisco 49ers just made a selection. Ji'Ayir Brown out of Penn State. As a toddler, he got a nickname after the Winnie the Pooh character Tigger because he always bounced around. He got tired of that, so now his friends just call him Tig. He was a terrific basketball player, averaged nearly 7 steals per game. He played at Penn State after starting in JUCO, and now is moving to the NFL with the 49ers.
I love this guy. On tape, I thought he was an early
second-round pick until he ran that 4.65 40-yard dash. And who cares? It's just like Brian Branch from Alabama. He plays about 0.2 seconds faster because his eyes are always there. He has a legendary work ethic. He's always prepared. Look at him flying off the edge. He's always around the football. And look at what he brings in terms of the versatility. He can play the big nickel. He can play two-high safety. I think he's going to be a stud. And they've got an absolute steal, the San Francisco 49ers in the third round.
In basketball, he led the state of New Jersey in high school in steals. He's very instinctive.
He gets the ball away.
Yeah. Zero things coming before they actually happen.
And a 0-star coming out of high school.
Crazy.
No offers. Had to go to junior college.
2 years, exactly.
Trying to get somebody to buy into it. You know what I mean? And then guess what? It clicks, his body develops, and all of a sudden, he goes to a team. By the way, you don't go to the 49ers unless you're a baller. You better be a football player.
He's a winner.
Here come the 49ers in their next pick.
With the 99th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jake Moody, kicker, Michigan.
How about it? The first kicker selected this early since 2016. I thought it might be Chad Ryland from Maryland. He transferred from Eastern Michigan to Maryland, had a great year. Chad Ryland's going to get drafted, I think, and going day 3. Jake Moody at Michigan. Big leg. You think about 2021. 56 of 56 on PATs. 23 of 25 on field goals. This past year, he didn't miss a PAT. 29 of 35 on field goals. 7 of 8 from 40 to 49 yards. 3 of 7 from 50 plus. He had a long of 59 yards. Jake Moody's got a big leg. He was splitting the uprights on a lot of kicks during his career. This is a kid that can be a weapon, because I'll tell you what, he's got the ability. If you need a 60 plus, I think he can maybe do it, because he showed he can hit the 59-yarder. They say 3 of 7 from 50 plus, 7 of 8 from 40 to 49, 23 of 25 2 years ago. That's pretty good consistency over a 2-year period.
And he is clutch. If you watch Michigan play, Jim Harbaugh coached like he knew if he needed a big kick late, he was going to get it from that young man. So Jake Moody, a kicker, goes in round 3 to San Francisco.
With the 99th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jake Moody, kicker, Michigan.
Let me tell you something. Kickers are not only people, too, but kickers are Wolverines, too. And I knew the San Francisco 49ers were smart people. I always knew it. Now it's sealed. This guy can kick footballs straight through the uprights like nobody I've seen. I'm serious.
I'm with you.
I am serious. I have been a Michigan fan since 1986. This is the best kicker Michigan has ever had. He is beyond reliable. And the 49ers and you fans in San Francisco and throughout Niners Nation are gonna love Jake Moody. Yes. Well done, San Francisco. Well done indeed. Look at that. Kicking it from the middle of Arizona.
So Robbie,
right there.
Robbie Gold's replacement right there.
Robbie Gold is an excellent kicker, but yeah, I'm clapping for you. You clap for me. Let's clap for all of us. Well done. Well done. And Jed York. Yeah. Michigan players can be Niners too, Mr. Golden Domer. Thank you, sir. Well done.
With the 99th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jake Moody, kicker, Michigan.
Jake Moody from Michigan. The Maize and Blue, and a clutch kicker that Jim Harbaugh loved.
Yeah, Jake Moody was just Mr. Consistent.
Look at the stats
for Michigan. Look at him. I mean, unbelievable. He was just like a guy who was just on automatic.
82.1%.
Yeah, 82 was room to spare. If I'm not mistaken, I think he broke my record for all-time points scored at the University of Michigan. Jake Moody broke my record. So Congratulations to Jake Moody.
355 points. That's what it took to break your record, my man.
He must have been there about 5 years.
I know they lost that game, but 59 yards. Listen, he's clutch. He's got distance. He's got accuracy.
Yeah.
What else do you want from a kicker?
Jake Moody.
What else do I want?
Just think.
Don't want to take a kick in the third
if
round.
you've just been a kicker, you could have been the all-time leading scorer in Michigan.
'49ers with the next selection.
With the 101st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Cameron Latu, tight end, Alabama.
Adding more weapons to that diverse offense. Not quite sure who the quarterback is going to be in San Francisco, but sometimes it's not clear that it matters.
Cameron Latu attacks the football. He doesn't let it get into his body. Not a body catcher by any stretch. He catches the football. He snatches it. Adept at winning in tight coverage. That was Cameron Latu. He goes, gets the football. He'll drop what should be routine catches at times. Some focused drops there. Blocking lacks the desired consistency. This past year, he had 30 catches for 377 yards and 4 touchdowns. Stick-out game was Tennessee. 90 receiving yards and a touchdown on 6 receptions. Kansas State game led the Crimson Tide with 5 catches in that game. Set a school record for touchdowns by a tight end with 8 last year and 2 years ago in 2021. Averaged 15.8 a catch. Smart. Football IQ really high. Cameron Latu, I think, is a backup tight end at the pro level.
Yeah, he's a backup tight end. If he's going to play the Y, he's got to become a better blocker, meaning that attached tight end next to the tackle. Maybe not fast enough to threaten the middle of the field. Runs excellent routes, but overall, from a standpoint, improve as a blocker, he'll be fine.
This is such an anticlimactic pick from the 49ers. I don't know how you top their last
Kicker from Michigan.
They will have to try.
Quinn Nordine? No?
Good one.
That's just for you.
With the 101st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Cameron Latu, tight end, Alabama.
Tight ends just keep rolling off the board on night number 2. Cameron Latu wasn't healthy throughout his time there at Alabama. When he was out on the field, they were able to split him out wide. You can use him in line. Excellent on option routes. Offered you a little bit of wiggle at the top of the route to create some separation. I thought he was better later in the year as he got healthier. You saw a better version of him in this offense. There are times he lets the ball get into his body a little bit. That's one area he can improve on. They know how to scout tight ends there in San Francisco. I'm going to trust him on this one.
I look down at your phone, and it's George Kittle welcoming you to the tight end group. That's going to be a neat call for the kid from Alabama.
With the 101st pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Cameron Latu, tight end, Alabama.
All right, Latu, the 2-year starter at tight end. He was a highly recruited linebacker when he went to Tuscaloosa. They converted him to a tight end, and he is the final pick of day 2 of the NFL Draft, going to the San Francisco 49ers. And now we're going to go to Mexico City now to see who the 49ers will take with their 4th pick of this draft.
This is Javi Garcia representing the club 49ers Mexico and all the fans here at La Casa de los 49ers in Mexico City. With the pick 155th in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Darrell Luther, DB, South Alabama.
Darrell Luter, Luter played at South Alabama, just became a dad, and now he's on his way to San Francisco.
Yeah, and this is a great scheme fit, Reese. Almost 6 foot tall, 189 pounds, ran a 4.46 at the NFL Scouting Combine. A 2-year starter down there who has played on the outside. He's used to playing on the boundary, in man coverage, I might add. We've seen that technique, that click and close ability. He'll hug guys in phase down the field. Now, one of the reasons that he might be available here, just 1 interception last year. Go back the year before that, he actually had 4 interceptions. So there are some ball skills, a little bit of a developmental prospect. But one thing the 49ers needed to do in this draft, guys, grab defensive backs. You lose Jimmy Ward in free agency. They got a great one in Ji'Ayir Ward last year in free agency, Mel. They had to attack the secondary. Luter is somebody, he's going to play early special teams in nickel and dime packages.
You're a regular on the Darian Mel show, Matt, and you brought up
my guy.
Jr. That's
my
your
guy.
Said, hey, watch this guy. He's going to be a real good pick on day 3. Smart kid with length, and I think the ball skills are there. He only had the 1 pick, but 4 interceptions 2 years ago showed that. So it's a kid, when you get a kid with that kind of skill set late in the draft, certainly makes sense.
Here's what the 49ers have done up to this point. Their draft started in the 3rd round. They were sort of sitting around waiting for a while. Got a kicker, got a tight end, safety, cornerback. What do you think about what they've done so far, Todd?
I like it. Ji'Ayir Brown's one of my favorite players in this draft. He ran a 4.65, and he wound up falling to that 3rd round.
Yep.
But I think he plays like a 4.45.
Had he run faster, he would have been one of the top safeties for me in this draft because he got tremendous anticipation. All that production on the ball is because of the fact that he plays with his mind. And he is an absolute, I mean, he brings a wheelbarrow of bricks every time he hits.
You know, if you look at San Francisco, everyone always asks, like, well, why is it San Francisco? Why is it the Chiefs? Certain teams are so great in the 3rd round. They do 2 things. One, they figure out the makeup of the player, you know, the instincts, the toughness, how much they love the game, football intelligence. The second thing is they make sure they fit. And Luter is a perfect example. You touched on it, Matt. They love press zone. They need guys who are physical, but also have the instincts to drop off into coverage. Now you've got a guy in Ji'Ayir Brown who maybe has the best instincts of any safety outside of maybe Branch coming out of Alabama, and a cornerback that has experience playing that press zone. So these guys are put in a position to succeed.
Yep.
We'll take it to Mexico City.
Oh, nice.
This is Javi Garcia representing the club 49ers Mexico and all the fans here at La Casa de los 49ers in Mexico City. With the pick 155th in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ji'Ayir Luter, DB, South Alabama.
No matter who the defensive coordinator is, whether it's Robert Saleh, whether it's DeMeco Ryans, no matter who they plug in at cornerback, they like long-limbed cornerbacks who can run and play
Steve Wilks, those long arms,
now,
you know who that reminds me of? Steve Wilks had J.C. Horn just now in Carolina. Not to say that they're the same, but it's that same sort of body type, and he didn't select him either, but still knows how to utilize that.
My player comp on him was Christian Benford.
Christian Benford, who's the starter for the Buffalo Bills.
But he's also a faster, more explosive tester than Christian Benford. So I think there's a little more upside there potentially with Luke.
Another Georgia defender is off the board. 49ers take Robert Beal Jr.
Yeah, this is an outside pass rusher, guys, who looks the part. 6'3.5", 244 pounds, but an 83-inch wingspan, who ran a 4.44 in the 40-yard dash at the NFL Scouting Combine. He was a part-time player, so he doesn't have that eye-popping production. Georgia likes to rotate their guys to keep them fresh off the edge. But I think in San Francisco, this is what they're looking for. They're looking for guys who have that first-step quickness, who are able to use a long arm to keep offensive tackles off their body. Beal is an upside player. He's a work in progress that the 49ers can develop, and he's going to fit that 9 techniques they like their defensive ends to play.
49ers have, to me, a top 2 defensive line coach in the NFL, if not the very best, Chris Cassari. If there's someone who will get it out of any single player you bring in there at his position, it's Chris Cassari. They coach those guys. I'm telling, I talk about this probably every year. They coach those guys in a way. Folks, you got to go see the San Francisco 49ers practice and training camp. I'm just telling you, I'll just leave it at that.
Run here. What do you think of this kid from Georgia?
Yeah, go figure. Another Georgia defensive player, Robert Beal, ran a sub 4.5 at 4.48. Part of that rotation there on the edge. He really flashes. You see the flashes of speed to power. I thought there were times he stalled out a little bit there. But once he clears a tackle, his closing burst is as good as anybody in this class. I think he was in the mix for all those teams that run that jet front. Teams like the Jets, who went out and got Will McDonald, want guys that can really get off the ball with big-time bursts. You see it with the Eagles, another team who likes to get guys out there and let them go. Robert Beal's that type of player that fits that type of scheme in San Francisco with Chris Kasurk as their D-line coach. They do it as well as anyone.
When you're saying jet front, you're talking about mainly ends coming in and we guys kicking a tackle.
It's an attack
jet front, NASCAR, speed unit, whatever people call it.
And a jet front, read is a 4-letter word. We're not reading, we're attacking.
Not reading, you're attacking. And, you know, Vic Fangio's no longer in San Francisco. Remember when they took Alden Smith? And he had a plan for him as a rookie to not be a full-time guy, much more of a DPR. Robert Beal can be a lot like that here. Maybe not necessarily as highly regarded, but he's just going to come in and rush the passer early in his career.
With the 173rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Robert Beal, defensive end, Georgia! Go Dogs!
Wasn't that long ago he was the sack leader. Well, you see it right there in 2021. Sack leader for, in the same year that Trayvon Walker was, played that season, the first player drafted was Trayvon Walker, a defensive end. Robert Beal was a sack leader with 6.5. Good tester at the combine, ran really, really fast. And I think he's fluid in the drills. I liked him in the drills. I thought he really moved well. You can see him rushing off the edge. But I think what's interesting about Beal is he's got some true get-off, as you can see in some of these highlights. But the other thing is he's pretty fluid in space. So the ability to drop and cover gives you something to take a look at with San Francisco. Oh wait, who just made that pick?
Yeah,
San
Niners,
Francisco. Yeah. That's what San Francisco likes, right? They like guys who can drop and be fluid in space. And so maybe you're looking for a player that can give you some of the same things that Fred Warner gives you if you want to use him at linebacker. Maybe you just want to have him as a full-time pass rusher.
Because I don't want to give up Zach Evans just yet, and we'll tie all the threads together. His former teammate at TCU, at least for a little while, was D. Winters, linebacker who just selected in the penultimate pick of the 6th round by the San Francisco 49ers. A little bit undersized. You saw 5'11", 227. Turn on the Michigan game. He had 7 tackles. He had 1 interception that he took back for a touchdown, another pass defense. He was everywhere. Michigan's offensive line, they won the Joe Moore Award. That means they have the best offensive line in college football. Didn't matter. D. Winters absolutely destroyed this offense. He's going to play in space. He's kind of a hybrid nickel linebacker type, but he's just a playmaker. And I'm going to root for players like this who were great on Saturdays in the fall that are maybe undersized, maybe don't fit the prototype, but he still went out and ran a 4.49, the 40-yard dash at the combine. So D. Winters has a star next to his name in my notes because he's a fantastic, fantastic player.
The 216th pick in the 2003 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select D. Winters, linebacker, TCU. Woo! Go Niners!
I'll bet your model likes him. I might be wrong, but I'm gonna bet that your model likes him.
My model liked him in 2020 the best.
Okay.
It said 2021 and 2022. A little confusing. Too many missed tackles. That missed tackle number was a little dicey, considering the speed that he actually has.
That's a concern, yeah.
Right? Not being able to convert that speed into stopping people from gaining against him.
Yeah, he.
But again, we're in the 6th round, so it's not terrible, right?
I mean, he's got a runner's pace in terms of the way he scrapes and follows plays.
What does that mean? A runner's pace?
So when you scrape and try to follow, you want to have similar speed and burst to the way the running back runs. I mean, that's what you love to have, at least at linebacker. And that's one of the things he can do is he can scrape with the pace of a running back. He reads the play with ready presence, and I think he's got the ability to play on all 3 downs. So I think D. Winter he's just a little undersized.
Yeah, first team all Big 12 conference.
All right, let's have a look at Braden Willis now coming out of Oklahoma.
Yeah, a versatile player. Can play fullback, can play tight end. He also played a little wildcat quarterback just in case the 49ers run out of those again in the NFC Championship game. Now their bases are covered. Kyle Juszczyk's only getting older, and Willis is a similar type of player, a very good receiver out of the backfield, a very comfortable runner as well. You can get the ball in his hands in the backfield, a good move blocker, works very, very well in space. Someone that has that mentality to be a blocker. He's not going to be afraid of contact. Oh, he'll go catch the ball on a fade route as well, guys. So truly, somebody that brings the 4 to 5 traits you need to make it in the NFL as a fullback. He has all those. He's going to help on special teams. The Niners, one of the few teams that still starts a fullback. So Braden Willis goes to the right spot.
All right, just a few moments ago, San Francisco 49ers taking the tight end out of Oklahoma. Braden Willis, the selection, actually led the Big 12 amongst the tight ends with 7 receiving touchdowns. There's one of them.
Yeah, you can see he's not really. They have a hybrid position, a H-back position over there, and a lot of guys come out of there that we start looking at later in the draft, and Braden Willis is one of them. He's got size and athletic profile that it doesn't, he can't be an inline blocker. He does have pass catching talent, as you saw right there. You're just going to have a plan for him and a fit for him because he doesn't really fit cleanly into one particular position.
And they took Ronnie Bell, wide receiver from Michigan.
Yeah, Ronnie Bell had a good career when he was healthy. He was a team captain in 2021, suffered the season-ending torn ACL in the opener, and then he returned healthy in 2022. He led the team, 62 catches, 889 yards, and 4 touchdowns starting all 14 games. Listen, Bell is a possession receiver. He lacks the speed to take the top off. He's never going to be a big play threat after the catch, but he's got savvy. He's a crisp route runner. He will block, and you know what? This dude shows up on 3rd downs. He's clutch in those situations. So as probably a number 4, number 5 competing early on as a possession slot receiver or even on the outside at times. It'll be interesting to see if Bell can carve a little niche with this 49ers team.
With the 253rd pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Ronnie Bell, wide receiver, Michigan.
Ronnie Bell is really a clean prospect. He's just not much of a separator, but everything he does is a check. Like it's hard to really knock him on anything wide receiver related. You'll see all the moves he makes here will be instinctive. He's got good hands. He's got good body control. When he runs his route, there's a good change of speed and tempo. So he makes up for his lack of burst by changing speeds and it's like a fastball. It's like a pitcher who doesn't have a great fastball. You kind of alter your speed so your fastball seems faster. That's how he runs his routes. But I think once he finds NFL coverage, it's going to be a little trickier. But once the ball goes up, he's got really good ball skills. So gives him a chance here. And Kyle Shanahan, his offense is really about, ball tracking and being consistent as a route runner, because in the West Coast offense, you want guys who can maintain momentum in their, in their routes.
With the 255th pick in the 2023 NFL Draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Jalen Graham, linebacker, Purdue.
Jalen Graham, for me, is a player who's going to be on my best available board, I'm sure, that we're pulling off because He is a player who is a good football player. Now, he's a linebacker, 220. That's a problem, but I think that's why he fell, because he just doesn't have linebacker size. He has more like safety size. He doesn't really run great, but what he does is play really good football. He's an energy-driven player. He's a hybrid player who's kind of a safety linebacker type of player. He needs to get a little bit bigger. I mean, there's just no way around it. You got to get bigger to play down in the box, but he is a smart football player who just seems to always be around the ball, and he has the potential, I think, to compete as a backup weak side linebacker in a 4-3 defense, but still needs to get a little bit bigger. But he's got some upside still left to cultivate.
I'm actually glad that they decided to use this photo from the East-West Shrine Bowl and not the one with Cynthia photobombing this moment on the field.